You recognize that song? Pretty popular song, been around for a long time. Notice how much of that pattern is played without the hi-hat. The hi-hat is used as an effect, but not really as a rhythm keeper, as a metronome that we normally use it as. So instead of playing, he could have played, and he wouldn't have thought anything about it, but he was a little more creative than that and came up with that pattern. And there's a lot of patterns like that that drummers go above and beyond to create something other than just the normal rhythm timekeeping that we think about as drummers. Hey, last time we were together, we talked about a couple of the more important rudiments in drumming and a couple that we can use early on. And one of them was the flam, where we have a little note in front of a big note, but it's part of that larger note. Now I lead with my left, so I'm mirroring you. You'll lead with your right. You'll start with your right hand, but the left hand will be your primary beat. And we would count it as 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's take that same pattern where we have a measure of 4, and let's say we want to be a little bit more intense with the fill. Instead of playing 3 and 4 and on the toms on the snare drum for the fill, let's take it to 3 and a 4 and, which is how we would count the 16th notes. So we're going to open up our flam. Instead of playing 3 and 4 and, we'll play 3 and a 4 and a. Same sticking, it's just that we're going to open up our flam and now become the 2 16th notes. 3 and a. I'll show you. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and a 4 and a. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and a 4 and a. 1. So I'll do the 2 back to back. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Great. Now, let's say we want something in between those notes because we're playing a slow pattern. So we can add our bass drum in between those, and we would count it as 1, 2, 3 and a 4 and a. Okay? 1, 2, 3 and a 4 and a. 1, 2, 3 and a 4 and a. 1, 2, 3 and a 4 and a 1. Now notice we're doubling our bass, so we're keeping the last note of our previous measure as well as 1 on the bass drum. So get back quick. 1, 2, 3 and a 4 and a 1, 2, 3 and a 4 and a 1. Now many times we'll actually use a crash cymbal on the 1 as we begin our new measure. It'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3 and a 4 and a 1, 2, 3 and a 4 and a 1. So now to involve more of the music, we can say, let's play the whole measure, just straight, of 4, and then we'll pick up the fill on the second measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and a 4 and a 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 and a 4 and a 1. You got it? Let's pick up the tempo a little bit. 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Now, how many times did I play that? 4 times. We live in a world of 4s, pretty much. I mean, there's some 3/4 songs, there's some 5/4, some 7/8, but most of what we listen to is 4/4. So it's kind of like making a box where you start here, and you'll take 1 beat, 2 beats, 3 beats, and then 4 beats will close the box, and it'll sound and feel more complete if we do it in 4s. All right, so let's do one more thing. I want to kick the last bass drum as well as the first bass drum with the cymbal. So instead of playing... kicking the one. I want to kick the a one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And the 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Now I can do that a couple of ways. I can use one hand and work it to death, or I can actually use the second hand. A one. So if we put that together, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Now if I was smart about it, I would have played